So it was a pretty crazy last 24 hours or so for the Nintendo eShop team and CD Projekt Red and what happened. And I'm still sorry about my voice, guys. I'm kind of just getting over this cold and this cough that I have. I feel a lot better. So once again, I appreciate everybody sticking with me as I work through this, because something went down on the eShop that we really haven't seen before, and they are totally honoring it overall. And it was something that actually knocked off Metroid Prime 4 from its top spot. But then here comes Cyberpunk 2077 with this incredible discount down all the way from $69.99. Usually it'll go on sale for like 40 something or 50 at times. Remember, this is the complete Cyberpunk experience with all of the extra DLC updates and everything added in. It's not that mess or train wreck that launched at first in 2020, and it runs okay on the Nintendo Switch 2 for the most part, with a performance mode and a quality mode. And there was a glitch, which was disputed whether it was a glitch or not at first, but there was a glitch on the eShop that discounted the game down to $17 and about 50 cents. And I was streaming the other day and people were telling me about this, and I was like, okay, well, I already have the physical copy of the game. I mean, do I really need to go out there and pick it up? And I was like, you know what? I'm too lazy to actually grab the physical cartridge for this type of game. I'm not the biggest fan of Cyberpunk, so if I'm ever going to actually play all the way through and beat this game, it's probably going to be something that I do spontaneously in between other games, and I'd rather have that digital. And for 17, 18 bucks, why not? So during my stream, I purchased it. And then all of a sudden there was a lot of talk online how it shot back up to the regular price and how it was a mistake. And people were thinking that CD Projekt Red or Nintendo was going to recall it or essentially take it back out of people's libraries for that $17, $18. But that is not the case. We got an official word from CD Projekt Red on Twitter stating this: the discounts for Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition displayed on Nintendo Switch 2 eShop in the Americas on December 22nd, 2025 were incorrect. The situation is a result of an error we made when submitting the discount. We have corrected the error and new discounts have now been applied. Purchases made at the previous discount rate are unaffected by this change. So essentially, so many people rushed to pick up Cyberpunk 2077 on the Nintendo Switch 2 eShop that it made it shoot up from, I'm not even sure where it was. I'm not even sure if it was in the top 30 overall. It might have been at the bottom, but it was nowhere near the top 10. And it shot all the way up from the bottom to the number one spot. So if you look at the eShop charts and how they do things based off of revenue for the last 3 days. So any game that has had the most revenue, not necessarily the most sales, but most revenue for the last 3 days is going to be displayed at the higher position of the charts. The fact that Cyberpunk, which was discounted all the way down to $17, $18, shot up from where it was to number one shows, considering it's that low, that it had a considerable amount of people rushing to pick it up. I estimated maybe 50, 60,000 people or something like that. I'm not really sure what the number was, but there was definitely probably several thousands of people. Otherwise, that eShop rating would have not went over other games that are $70 plus or higher. So if you took advantage of that deal, that's awesome. I took advantage of it. I was able to get it. I know a lot of people were late and saying, oh man, I just missed the deal. What's going to happen? But hey, look, it is a miracle out there. They're not going to pull it back. And it's a great game with a lot of content for that price. Very good on that front if you're able to pick up Cyberpunk 2077, and maybe I will give it a shot one of these days again. I've already played a bit of it before on PlayStation 5. I've played it on, I think, Xbox. No, I purchased it on Xbox. I played it on Nintendo Switch a bit back at the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 and just kind of fell off of it. So maybe I'll give it a shot periodically here and there in between the other games that I'm playing. Right now, I'm really playing a lot of Trails in the Sky first chapter now that I beat Metroid Prime 4. So I'm trying to get back to that game overall. So it's going pretty good, though. I love Trails in the Sky first chapter. I got to get that game beat just so I can get ready for Trails in the Sky the second chapter, because that's looking like it's going to be incredible. So what do you guys think overall about what happened here when it comes to CD Projekt Red dethroning Metroid Prime 4 with a glitch sale overall? Let me know in the comment section below. But before we get to the next topic, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos as soon as they drop. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into this next topic here, and we're going to discuss Octopath Traveler and what is going on, because it has hit another huge milestone when it comes to all of the Octopath Traveler games. So we're talking about Octopath Traveler 2018, the original first game, Octopath Traveler 2 that came out in 2013, and Octopath Traveler 0, which is a prequel that came out recently, right around the time that Metroid Prime 4 came out. Kind of bad launch for me, at least, with that game, because I am behind. But from what I have heard from reviews, in addition to my own personal online friends that play this game, they've stated that it is absolutely incredible and might be the best Octopath Traveler game out of all of the games at this point, which is a tall task. Although I do think that obviously Octopath Traveler 1, yes, 2, and this game should be better than that when it came out, 6 years ago plus, and they've learned from then. But yeah, it's very good to see that Octopath Traveler 0 is helping to contribute to the Octopath Traveler series, shifting over 6 million units worldwide. And why this is impressive, or why it's good overall for it, is because Octopath Traveler is not some type of massive AAA type of game that has a ginormous budget and commands all these people working on it and everything. It's a smaller AA type of game that kind of throws back to the old school era of RPGs, of Final Fantasy and of Breath of Fire and of other games like that. But it has modern touches and modern things thrown in there with the Brave in Default system from Bravely Default, which is, once again, that is a throwback to the old school Final Fantasy games as well. So Square Enix put out a pretty cool picture, or more like an art, that shows 6 million units sold for the franchise. This is both physical and digital overall. So it's become a big success story for this type of game with the type of budget that it has. That averages about 2 million copies per a game so far. We do know that if you want to look at the breakdown, obviously Octopath Traveler 0 probably doesn't have 2 million copies sold just yet. Most of that, or a good portion of that, is coming from Octopath Traveler, the original game. That did incredibly well on the Nintendo Switch 1, moving over 3 million units. I don't think that even counts the PC version of the game, which also moved a number of copies as well. Then it came over to Xbox, it came over to PlayStation. Then Octopath Traveler 2, we know that did over 1 million units as well. So now that we have Octopath Traveler 0, we can probably say that, yeah, that tacked on another couple 100,000 of units. So it's all kind of accumulating, and that Square Enix knows, because they need stuff. They need games that they know that they can count on to do well, considering how Square Enix is doing now at this point. So I think that this is a great game. I'm definitely going to get to it at some point. I've just got to get Trails in the Sky first chapter done, and I think that this will be my next big RPG play that I'm going to do overall. I'm looking forward to it. It is a little bit cheaper as well. It's a $50 game instead of a $60 game like Octopath Traveler 1 and 2 were, so that's nice as well. It's also a repurposed mobile game, but I don't think they're counting the mobile in the sales or anything, because the mobile game is free to download. So this is essentially just counting the big games between Octopath Traveler 1, 2, and Octopath Traveler 0. So congratulations to Square Enix, and of course Team Asano. They do great work between Bravely Default and all of the HD 2D games overall. Mr. Asano does a great job of managing all the different teams that make these different HD 2D games and classic style of RPGs, and I cannot wait to see what's next, because I'm hoping that we get something from the Bravely Default franchise, maybe a Bravely Default 3 for the Nintendo Switch 2 after Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster. So what do you guys think about Octopath Traveler 0, and of course the lifetime sales so far, shooting past 6 million units overall? Let me know in the comment section below. We're probably going to be getting more Octopath Traveler in the future because of these great sales. Okay, let's talk about 007 First Light. We've got a delay to May 27th, 2026, and that is all versions of the game. And if they're delaying it on Xbox and PlayStation and PC, you can bet that that Nintendo Switch 2 version is probably a bit crusty, so they could all use this delay. So IO Interactive has announced this. It is going to be set May 27th. Once again, it was normally set for March 27th, 2026. So you got an exactly 2-month delay from this point, from the March 27th to May 27th overall. Now, here is the full message from IO Interactive about this delay. Hello, everyone. Today, we are sharing an update regarding 007 First Light, as we have decided to move the game's release by 2 months to May 27, 2026. 007 First Light is our most ambitious project to date, and the team has been fully focused on delivering an unforgettable James Bond experience, bringing together breathtaking action, globe-trotting, spycraft, gadgets, and car chases, and more. As an independent developer and publisher, this decision allows us to ensure the experience meets the level of quality you players deserve on day one. The game is progressing well and is fully playable from beginning to end, so these additional 2 months will allow us to further polish and refine the experience. Ensuring we deliver the strongest possible version at launch, we're confident this sets 007 First Light up for long-term success, and we sincerely appreciate the patience and continued support we've received ever since we revealed the game. We look forward to sharing more updates regarding 007 First Light in early 2026. Thank you again for your support, IO Interactive. So this is great for them, because there was just a little game called Grand Theft Auto 6 that got delayed out of its May release date to the fall, or November, I think, or so to the end of the year. So that gave them the necessary breathing room to say, okay, we can easily delay this to May, because the massive, I would say, time sink, the massive industry event that's going to be going down, that is Grand Theft Auto 6, after a decade plus from GTA 5, is not going to be there when they said it was. So I think that this delay came pretty easy for them. There was some frame rate issues and stuff overall when they first showed off that gameplay of it. They had like a big gameplay video. There was a bunch of explosions and stuff going on, and people necessarily weren't really vibing with that. I think people wanted to see more of the Bond stuff when it comes to the stealth and the gadgets and like the spy stuff and the inside shooting and all of that and the driving scenes. That kind of looked more like the typical run and gun shooter, like a Call of Duty type of thing. So I do think that it has both of them in there. So that's something that 007 games have done. But the best 007 games, of course, have a good contrast of stealth and kind of cool gunplay and gadgets and other things that you can do overall in the game, different objectives and stuff like that. So I think that this game should end up being much better now that they are taking a bit more time. And even if they have to maybe delay it again, just do what you've got to do when it comes down to making sure that this game is right from the beginning. It's been a long time since we've had a big AAA exciting 007 game to really kind of look forward to. I grew up playing 007 back in the day. I loved 007 GoldenEye on the N64. I loved Nightfire on the GameCube as well. I've played a lot of 007 games in the past, and some of the ones that I played towards the end before they kind of stopped making them weren't very good. So I need this one to be really good, and it looks good so far. So we'll see what happens when we get more of the game early next year, and when the game launches on May 27th, 2026, when it comes to their new release date here. So what do you guys think about 007 First Light getting this delay? I think it's a good idea if there were some issues, but you can let me know in the comment section below. All right, moving on to the final topic here. We're going to discuss Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties. We got a gameplay overview trailer, over 6 minutes. We got a deep dive, a 2-in-1 package. A lot of you guys really like the Yakuza games. I did a sponsored spot for them before, and I played a ton of the Yakuza 0 game on the Nintendo Switch 2, and I felt it was fantastic overall when it comes to the combat, the fluidity of the game, the elements when it comes to the beat 'em up style. It's really a throwback, which it is an older game from the PlayStation 4, even PlayStation 3. I think it was like a remake, remaster, stuff like that. But they're bringing back these older games, and they're really giving them a nice facelift. They're making them run smoother, play better, and this is great. This is just great to see. And they're finally supporting the Nintendo Switch 2 overall, which they were not supporting Nintendo at all when it comes to Yakuza games. Like, this is the first time that they actually decided to really support it, and not with what they did before, the Wii U game that was Japan only, Yakuza 1 and 2. That's not real support. I'm talking about actually putting real development time and effort into it, and of course marketing as well, and reaching out and making sure people play it on a worldwide scale, not just in Japan on Nintendo's worst selling system of all time. So it's good to see them actually go out there and say, we're gonna make this all around. So here's a bit more information about the game. So this trailer offers a glimpse at the new, seemingly balanced life of Kazuma Kiryu in Yakuza Kiwami 3, as his pristine tropical paradise of Okinawa's Morning Glory orphanage is disrupted by forces looking to force him and the children out of their home. Adopting the blistering Okinawa-inspired Ryukyu style of fighting, Kiryu reluctantly takes up arms to protect the peace in his newfound home. In addition to upgraded combat and new minigames, the trailer also touched on the game's new Bad Boy Dragon mode. So in this Bad Boy Dragon mode, Kiryu must assemble a motley crew of delinquents and rule the streets to protect Okinawa. As Kiryu, players will join a small-time Heisei girls gang, stepping forth as the gang's new leader and training them into the leading girl gang in Japan. Fight alongside allies in baddies battles, geared up to 20 of your young gang members for massive rumbles, or hop on your motorcycle and charge the enemy base in strategic skirmishes. Now let's talk about Yakuza Dark Ties. Protagonist Yoshitaka Mine must assist his lieutenant Tsuyoshi Kanda as he seeks to bolster his reputation and rise in the ranks by resolving a series of dramatic sub-stories, local disputes, tasks, and missions around town of the Kanda Damage Control segment. In the Hell's Arena Underground Fight Club, Mine must use brains and brawn to come out on top in a series of death-defying battles, all to bring down Hell's Arena's organizers, who pose a threat to the Nishikiyama family's business operations. As Mine, players must survive hellish brawls, traditional one-on-one fights, and push participants to the brink. And survival hell, dangerous races where competitors are relentless, chased by hunters through a treasure-filled dungeon. You can get more information, of course, Komatsu on that one. So Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties is due out for the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC via Steam on February 12th, 2026. So February turning out to be a big month overall. You've got Resident Evil Requiem, Resident Evil 7 and 8 as well, launching on the Nintendo Switch 2, and of course multi-platform for Resident Evil Requiem. Leon's going to be in that one. You also have Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade on Xbox and the Nintendo Switch 2 as well. So there's quite a number of great Japanese titles that are going to be launching in the first number of months in 2026. So I might talk about that just overall when it comes to my most anticipated games coming up for next year in a separate video. But what do you guys think about all the different topics here that we discussed? A lot of great information and news. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out all my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.